So the first thing we need to do is take out the cabin air filter unit here. Pull that clip back, this up, and now the box is gone. So now we're just going to lift up on the whole assembly. And it's that easy to take out. Got this little lock piece in there. What we got here is the brake booster assembly. So now we're going to be removing this little torque spit here for this upper plastic shield. Now that this is free, I'm going to take this shield out of here. Like I said, the hard part's going to be removing the master cylinder. You just need to get all the lines out of the way, and there's quite a bit of them. There's 3 total. Next, we have to remove the brake booster hose, which on a lot of them is held on with clamps. They're going to have to cut off. This one's been replaced once, so we're going to have to just use the 1/4" socket for the clamps. Get that hose off. Some hose pliers. So what we need to do now is actually remove the brake lines on the outside here. There's almost no room to get to them down here, and I'm hoping the booster will come out with master cylinder attached. If you can see, there's one here. Basically there is one attached here, but it's got a rubber hose down here. It's like it's attached to the bottom of the master, so I mean it is a brake line, but I'm just not sure as to how it goes about. So we're just going to try to pull this all out as one unit. Okay, so I've disconnected the master, all the lines to the master. Now what I did with this one, because this one's going to start pouring fluid out, and I don't really want to super have to bench bleed the master, but I've jammed a bolt in it so it doesn't just start leaking all the fluid down from the bottom. Same with the other side here. I have removed all of the line connections. There's 1, 2, 3. They all come off with a 15 mil on the coupler and an 11 millimeter on the brake fitting itself. Now these are all free. It's a couple of screws, and it's got this mounting stuff for the speaker in there. So now I'm going to try to remove that. Actually, I might not have to. We're gonna just bend this plastic back. There we go. It's kind of flexi plastic, so I got some working room. And if you see up there, you got a clip for the brakes, the brake pedal, and the 2 bolts that hold the booster in place. So we're gonna see how this goes. I'll remove the nuts and the brake pin. Okay, so I got the pin off. The clip kind of didn't really know too much about what I was doing there. So basically the clip is as follows. It slides on over the little tab there, and you just gotta get this bent out of the way a little bit, and then slide this part away from it, and it'll slide straight off the piece. Because this piece right here is what slides on, and this little tab in here, where my pointer's pointing to, is what actually holds it on. And this tab back over it doesn't allow it to move. So that's off right now. We got just slide it off the piece here, and you're good to go. So I'm using a 3/8 drive flex ratchet wrench with a 13 mil deep socket and a 3-inch extension. So now I'm just zipping that off by hand. Now this one, no extension, because you gotta fit behind the brake pedal. This is where my Matco 88 flex ratchet comes in quite nicely. Makes it almost like a mini ratchet, but yeah, can't be perfect. Remove the lines, and it looks like we are in luck. The booster came out with the master cylinder connected. So that's that. Now just need to get pieces off this. So meanwhile, I'd like to go over some precautions I took here. One of the main things is when I'm taking the lines off, obviously brake fluid's going to come out. I put rags down pretty much to try to get it to absorb most of it, along with the brake fluid that came out of here. Because brake fluid eats paint, so you do not want to have this just coated and everything else. So that is the step here. The reason I'm replacing the brake booster is it's full of water. So now we are going to remove the master cylinder. So we got the one side loose here. Taking that off with the other side. There ain't enough room for a wrench, so using my handy dandy ratchet wrench here. And now the reason we're replacing the booster is because of this. That is not brake fluid. That is dirty, nasty water. So, put your new O-ring on the master cylinder, put a little silicone grease on it, into the new one. And put our nuts back on it. Actually, these are good and tight because there's not any way to get to this one while it's in the car. Elbow piece into the new one. If these don't want to go in nicely, like I said, a little silicone grease. Because these are supposed to fit tight. A little silicone grease fits that right in there. So now we're ready to insert it back into the car and bleed your brake system. So, take your brake booster, slide this end down. Make sure you get this vacuum line above it. Now this may be a little tricky, or it might just fall right in place like that for you. So now, basically, just trying to get everything lined back up in place. It was. So now we're going to put our 13mm nuts back. To re-put this clip on, we're going to press the brake pedal into its slot and slide it just right back on. Adjust your stop switch to the rearward movement, and we have brakes again. We just need to get this plastic piece back up when we're done. Now we just need to reattach our brake lines. Okay, so now what I have done is reconnected the lines. Reconnected the lines and the vacuum booster and put our plastic pieces back in place. Now, as you see for the next step, is I have all four wheels off the ground and up in the air. We need to bleed the entire brake system. You can do this with use of a helper. I'm going to vacuum bleed them today to get the air to pass through. Being said, there is an issue that could arise with bleeding a BMW's brakes. I'm bleeding the booster into the master, so there's air in between the master and the lines going to the brakes. That's why we're bleeding them. Now the other thing is there's an ABS pump over here. I have been successful in doing this a few times without having to do the automatic bleed procedure with the BMW scan tool. Thing is, if you suck air and it gets trapped in the ABS pump, you'll have a soft pedal. You'll have brakes, but not quite what they should be. Very soft pedal. Air is caught in the ABS pump at that point. And you need the scan tool from BMW or someone that works on BMWs that has the proper maybe snap-on scanner with the automatic bleed procedure. So what I'm going to do today is I'm using my air bleeder system. So this is usually successful for me. Pop the bleeder. You start with the furthest from the master, which is the right rear, then the left rear, passenger front, and the closest is the driver's front. So we're going to do that now. Alright, so we're using .4 brake fluid today. Most vehicles take dot 3. You can put dot 4 in dot 3, but not put dot 3 in dot 4. That's kind of how it goes. Most European vehicles take dot 4, so I just always have this on hand. Thank you for watching Joe the Auto Guy. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. Hope this video helped you, and you have a great day.